Hello, everyone. My name is Tatiana Webb, and welcome to Off the Record, brought to you by Nana Music Productions. Today, we have a very special guest from our marketing team, our marketing director, Miss Maggie Hammonds. Hello, how are you?
Hi, I'm good.
Good. I'm so happy to have you on the show. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about marketing and just the importance of why marketing is essential to a music artist and really just the music industry in general. I mean, seriously, everything is marketed, and everything that you see when you're online, it's all because of a marketing strategy. But before we get
Yeah.
into all that, we're going to talk a little bit about Miss Hammonds here. So Maggie and I, we go back, what is it, like 2022,
Yeah.
Troy University. I
Yes.
was visiting because I was at that time an alumni, but Troy, what they do is this thing called Mic Check, which is basically a music industry summit for high schoolers and middle schoolers to be able to learn about the industry, bring in professionals to talk about it. And so I was a guest, not necessarily at the convention, just I was visiting. And our late professor, Robert W. Smith, kind of introduced me to the team and to the band, and Maggie was one of the members there. So, and ever since then, we've kind of just been on the hip. I've been saying that phrase
Yeah.
for just about
Well,
everybody
yeah.
I've brought on the show, but it's true.
I
Like,
feel like ours is free though. Ours is the only
yeah,
one.
I mean, it's the network and how the business works. So, but this lovely songbird has a beautiful voice and an
Well,
amazing
thank you.
talent with marketing. So, to get started into a little bit of that, did you want to talk a little bit or let's talk a little bit about your background in marketing. So, how did you get into marketing just as an interest?
Actually, it was an accident. It started at LBW whenever I'd went there. They do work study, obviously Reddick can do work study. And they were looking for somebody to do their like just photos and stuff like that, just around the campus. And I ended up picking that up, and I was under Maggie Mash at the time. That was her name, but her name is now Maggie Jones. Um, but she had a degree in marketing from Alabama at the University of Alabama, and she taught me so many things, and it really just I fell in love with it there. And so ever since then, I just have not been able to stop doing it.
I mean, that sounds like me with the industry. It seems like every
Yeah,
time I think I'm going to, just leave it or whatever, it's just like, oh,
yeah.
it just,
It just, yeah, like a little string.
yeah. So, okay. So that was, I mean, that's how you got into it. So let's
Hmm.
talk about what is marketing. Like, can you just for someone who just woke up and didn't know what marketing is, what do you
Hmm.
think, or what is marketing?
Okay, so for me personally, it's a way to use social media to really connect with your audience, reach whatever your certain audience is. I did look up some definitions actually to give you, but it's also just the understanding of like the needs of customers and just figuring out how to get them the right products or services. Obviously, in the music industry, it's a little bit different.
Mhm.
It is mostly just you marketing yourself or marketing what you want to be as an artist and really wanting to reach a certain amount of crowds or certain amount of people, excuse me. But whenever I was at LBW, it was basically me just understanding who I'm targeting,
Mhm.
obviously college students or high schoolers at the time. I mean, like, hey, come here. You want to come here. But now with music industry, I'm doing people mostly and also non-music productions and being like, hey, we do this and we can help you do this. So,
Yeah, I mean, it's essentially and you said it really well, but just to reiterate too, it's the strategy to take a brand or
mhm,
to bring a brand to a target audience.
yeah.
And it's the vehicle that is used to be able to take that brand to the audience. So
Mhm,
whether that's Coca-Cola, whether that's another brand or whatever, whether that's a
yeah.
clothing line, whatever, what is the strategy? What is the vehicle to get consumers to be able to see and acknowledge the brand and then want to invest into it. And
Exactly.
and so there's different methods, like how you mentioned, like social media is a strong one because
Hmm.
everybody is on it. It's right in
Yes.
your face. Everyone, checks their feed and everything every day.
Hmm.
But there's also like billboards, or there's just like,
Hmm.
movie placements and things like that. Like there are, sponsors and things like that. There's
Hmm.
so many avenues and again, different vehicles to be able to market a product. And
Yeah.
the big thing about, well, I'll let you get into this. So, the importance specifically for a musician or a music artist, can you talk a little bit about the importance of marketing for the music industry in this case?
Yeah. Um, I know specifically now there's a lot of people that are getting into music a lot more now. I think that now that social media is such a huge thing, people are using that to catapult their careers. And I mean, you see a lot of, I mean, TikTok famous singers, and they're singing all the time on TikTok and they're like, oh, well, you should go here and you should do this. And I mean, like they're going so big just because of social media.
Hmm.
But I think for like an artist, I think knowing what you want to look like and what you want to be marketed as is so important. And that just comes to like creativity. Like you don't have to necessarily be the most creative person in a room, but you want to have something about you that is so different from somebody else that helps you be like, oh, well, I like this artist, but this person is different. I like them because of what they do. So
Yeah.
I think creativity and just like the little bit of like different things that people can do really put people out there.
I like that. And part of that too has, like how you mentioned, it has to do with understanding your brand, who you
Mhm.
are. And so
Yes.
as an artist, like how you market is also part of how you represent yourself. And
Yeah.
so what I really like about, so with that, you were talking about you don't have to be the most creative, but you can get creative
Hmm.
in this role. So
Yeah.
you can play a role with trying to do things independently. If you're an extremely creative person, you know, you can do your own marketing and work that out
Yeah.
like that. But sometimes you need a team about that. So
Yeah.
is the let's like what is the purpose of a marketing team when it comes down to an artist? And can you talk a little bit about the importance of, maybe having a team versus doing it independently?
Yeah. Whenever I first started with marketing at LBW, it was just me and Miss Maggie. I mean, it was little Maggie and it was big Maggie. We were doing things all the time. And then I come to Nana Music Productions and we have a whole team. We've got so many people that are so creative in their own ways. And whenever you're just one person doing something, obviously it always happens to where you sometimes just get overwhelmed. You get overwhelmed with life happening, you get overwhelmed with sometimes your brain just goes into a creative block.
Hmm.
That's what I call it. I go through them a lot sometimes.
Me too.
And there's other times where like my creativity just soars. Um, so like I also paint and I do art stuff outside of this. And so I'm able to, sometimes paint all the time. And then I'm like, eh. But whenever you have somebody that you are like can bounce ideas off of and be like, hey, I like this, but I think it can be used in a different way. What do you think about it? Like I've even done it with you sometimes. Like you're not necessarily on the marketing team, but I definitely ask you for some of your input. And I'm like, hey, like I like this, but there's something missing. And you're like, well, why don't you try doing this? And it just being able to bounce ideas off of somebody else, I think is really so important when doing marketing.
Mhm.
And it really just helps out a lot with not even just the stress of everything, but also just making sure that you're not like overworking your brain sometimes, which creates the creative block.
Yeah. No, I absolutely get that. I do get creative block and writer's
Yeah.
block, and just sometimes you just need a moment, and to be able to have additional what is it? Reinforcements, I guess you could say,
Yeah.
to be able to again, how like you said, bounce that off and everything, it
Hmm.
becomes synergetic. It's not just one vehicle or one person fueling all of the
Hmm.
creative juices and things like that. It's now
Yeah.
like a team that can ebb and flow. And then also because of just being in a room with them or being in a group with somebody, now it's like, oh yeah, we can do this and this and that. And like, I mean, shoot,
Yeah.
we've done that. I mean, even before we got on the phone call right now,
Yeah.
starting to bounce off ideas about some content
Yep.
and stuff. And I'm just like, yeah, yeah, let's do that. And so
Hmm.
it's just there's an energy to having a team. So
Hmm.
that's what one thing that I want our musicians and our people in the industry to hear is, you know, not just with marketing, but when you have a team, there is support there. There is, synergy there and it makes things happen better. And I guess
Yeah.
and better may or may not be the right word for it, but it's just it can it can happen more efficiently if
Yes.
you have the right people on your team who are great at what they do. Like
Hmm.
case in point, you said you have your marketing classes and your experiences as far as being in marketing.
Yeah.
I got my degree or got my minor in promotion business. So
Yeah.
basically a marketing minor in my
Yeah.
undergrad.
Basically.
And I mean, I do well. I can do my own marketing and I was doing my own
Hmm.
marketing for a very long time.
Yeah.
To have someone like you as my marketing director to lean in
Hmm.
on the content creation and the ideas and stuff, but then also we can work together to make sure it's in line with our mission and our goal and everything like that. It's very relieving for me because it's like, okay, I know I have an expert in the field working in this area. I
Hmm.
don't have to worry about that. And I think that feeling is important for an artist because it's like, okay, I can now focus on writing my music while this person is, marketing my brand and
Yeah.
and working on those things. And so point being, there's a level of relief with having experts in certain team
Hmm.
areas and dynamics and stuff. So that's yes, marketing, but that's kind of across the board. So
Yeah.
with that though, I want to talk a little bit about a little bit of food for the artist who has, who's brand new to the industry. Like, what are some things that can be marketed for an artist? Because, like I'm talking about, they walked in the studio and said, I want to be an artist, and they don't have anything yet. So, what would
Yeah.
you advise for an artist to first start with before you put anything online or in paper?
Well, my first thing that I would tell them is that this is not as scary as it looks. Marketing seems like a very big thing sometimes, and it is. Don't get me wrong. I'm not downplaying that, but it's also something that you're able to conquer if you have the right people around you. Um, but if they're just now starting out, my first thing that I always tell anybody, even whenever I do like the marketing trials with some of our artists that we have now, I'm consistently telling them, make a separate music page. I love seeing your content and seeing where you've been traveling or that you graduated from somewhere or you had Thanksgiving with your family. But let's make a separate music channel so that we can focus on what you want to be as an artist. And also, you want to have your look, which we've been saying, like your brand, we've been saying that this entire time. Know what you want, what kind of look you want. You don't specifically like have to know like all the little intricate details. Like you can have people, around you, like us, for instance, to help you with that. But just know like, do you want to be a country singer or do you want to be R&B? Do you want to be gospel? Do you want to be hard, heavy metal rock? There's different types of looks and things and even colors, even down to the colors sometimes, you know. But my biggest thing, create your own music page is my number one thing to do.
I find it funny because I do have an artist page.
Yeah.
Is dark right now because I haven't done anything. Well, I haven't specifically marketed my
hmm
artistry right now.
hmm
And what I'm writing and what I'm working on. So
Yeah.
part of that is the yes, I do have a separate page specifically
Yes.
for my music. But I haven't done anything with it. So
Yeah.
but it's only
It's
on
okay.
because I don't have a artist page for my Instagram, so that's a whole other thing. But
It's another conversation for a different day.
exactly. But
Yeah.
but I still click the check mark or I
hmm
press the check mark on that one because, at least I have it. And so I agree completely because yeah, I would like to see your music and what you're doing versus, oh, you had a bagel for breakfast today.
Yeah.
I
It looks great. Don't get me wrong. It looks wonderful.
That sounds like a great
But,
day.
but
So, and talking a little bit too,
Mhm.
because, having that first page, yes. And I think also one thing that an artist, like if you don't have any music out there, just getting a couple good headshots and being able to
Oh yeah.
just showcase you got a guitar or, just things like that. And it's like music coming soon, or just do a little bit of teasers and things like that. That kind
hmm
of helps out with the just getting people aware of your brand without really
Yeah.
anything yet.
hmm
But I'll get more into advice when I officially ask you that question. So,
Yeah.
but that is a kind of going into the areas of what can be marketed because it can be your music, it can be your merchandise because that's a whole
hmm
other marketing thing because people
Yeah.
start merchandise. I mean, I'm gonna shout this man out again because as we're recording, it's somebody's birthday, but Magneto 7, he has
hmm
this brand called what is it? Stop making poverty music, something like that. Yeah, stop making
Yeah.
poverty. And I wear his t-shirt all the time. And I only
hmm
have the one, but I wear it like crazy. Or like one of our artists, Danny Spyro, he has his shirt and it is the most comfortable t-shirt ever.
hmm
And these are easy ways to market yourself without your music being present at all. And
Yeah.
so it's just like these are areas where you can, get people associated with your brand. Again,
hmm
music thing. I mean, but they're artists and producers and it's their brand and it's their different things. So you can get creative with what you're marketing, except for I'm performing at this location. It could be, I have a single coming out, I have, music coming
hmm
out, but also I have these t-shirts, I have these wristbands, I have this initiative that I'm raising money for, like things that you want your brand associated with, their strategies to be able to get people aware of it.
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to mention this and then I'm gonna let you keep it going forward.
Okay.
Consistency.
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Um, Consistency. The biggest thing in marketing. Number one. My again, first year ever doing it. I had no clue what I was getting into, by the way, whenever I started doing it. But then Miss Maggie, she gives me this list of things. And I'm like, oh, okay, you want this done like end of the month. I'm thinking, oh no, girl. She wants it done every week. And it has this full list of like, I want not only insights, but I want things posted. I want you there at the games. I want events that we have going on. I want you taking pictures at events and stuff like that. I mean, like, we're at a college. We're at this little tiny community college at the time. But I mean, it was every day I was doing something. And that's what led to them fully rebranding the college, them changing the logo, and them having like this huge catapult of an online presence to where now you're seeing them everywhere. You know where LBW's at. If you ask anybody around here, they're gonna know where LBW's at. And I mean, that's what we're trying to get non-music at now. I mean, I don't know if our listeners do follow us. If you're going to now, non-music productions and also off the record non-music productions.
Non
But
underscore off the record on
that part. Mhm.
find it.
But we were wanting to also infuse that because consistency, you can post something, you know, and you can post something one day, and on Instagram, they have the thing where you'll probably see it 3 days later, but you're still going to see it. Or even, you know, but if you're posting everything every single day, they're not only seeing it 3 days later, they're seeing the one that you posted 3 days ago, 2 days ago, and one day ago, just scrolling past. Because you want people, and sometimes even with consistency, not every post people are going to go back and look at. Or, like now you can click on somebody's account and see everything. Like one post, they're going to be like, oh, well, that's kind of meh. But then, like with the off the record Opus clips, there's people clicking on the page, following the page just because they've seen that we're now doing a podcast.
Mhm.
And it's just from us being consistent and posting it and being like, hey, check us out. And I mean, posting 3 times a day, being like, hey, check us out. You're going to love us. Like, you know,
Yeah. I mean,
but
but right. And that's the big thing. Like just you mentioned it, but I'm a put a more of a word picture on it. It's
yes.
kind of like a tsunami effect or like a what
Yeah.
is it? Yeah, a tidal wave tsunami effect where if you are posting every once in a while, that's kind of like, just like one wave in the ocean. Like, okay,
Yeah.
whoosh, it had its moment and now it's gone.
Hmm.
But if you have one and then two and then it's like back to back to back and then it's all of a
Hmm.
sudden now not only is it now spinning off of that one that just happened, it now
Hmm.
becomes this big wave of just content that is consistently being flooded to anything. Like for example, it's like you click like on one of the videos and it's like,
Hmm.
oh, the algorithm knows you like
Hmm.
this stuff.
Yeah.
Here's a whole bunch more because
Yeah.
you're posting so much. And
Hmm.
instead of it being like trickles of, every once in a while because that's how you post, now it's like whoosh, like a big old
Yeah.
of it. And now you can't not see it. Um,
Hmm.
and then you end up following and then you end up becoming a fan and supporting. And so
Hmm.
it's kind of like how you catch people and you know, it's very much or more saying how do you compel someone to invest? Well,
Yeah.
being consistently there, it's also what I've noticed with not just the industry, but just in business in general. You have to develop trust with
Yes.
with someone before they invest their money into whatever you're
Hmm.
and so whether that's testimony, whatever you want to call it. But as in the marketing world, you have to be consistent with your posting, with your brand, and that also can look like, hey, we hold a standard of, customer service is always right or whatever, just
Yeah.
whatever your mantra is for your business. But upholding that standard is also part of that consistency because again,
Hmm.
brand. So,
Yep.
but point being with your developing that consistency, it fosters trust. And when you're fostering trust, now people can lean in and be like, oh, I feel safe to now be
Hmm.
able to invest my time, invest my money, invest my resources into what you're doing. And now you've developed this person who is more than just a viewer. They're now supporting you. Now they're showing up whenever you go live or whatever. Or hey, I've got a concert 2 weeks from now. Great. I've
Hmm.
put it on my calendar already and I'm sharing the post too. And now
Yeah.
you're hitting other markets and stuff because those people are now showcasing to their markets. So
Hmm.
it's all part of again, part of the network that we talked about earlier.
Hmm.
But it's important that when you are working, you have to work on your marketing. You can't just, oh, I
Yeah.
posted something. Like this is going back to your music as for musicians, your music is a business. You have to put a business mind on when you're thinking about your market
Yes.
pushing something because it's not just a, oh, great, I posted, I've done something because I'm doing something. It's no, how do I get people invested in my blank? And
Hmm.
so it's just that's how it is. So that's my little soapbox of marketing because I'm just like you have to it's important and that's why when people are saying like like for example we do packages for our marketing for our
Yes, we do.
stuff. So if you ever want to talk to us about that, please get in contact with Maggie or get in contact with myself, and we'll set up a free consultation for that. But with that though when people are saying invest in your marketing, invest in that, that's why you have to pay for people to help you with your marketing and stuff like that because it's
Mhm.
just that's a whole the reason why there's marketing teams and the reason why there's marketing
Yes.
it's a job. You have to
Hmm.
think about it like that. And your brand is more than just you going on stage. You have to think about that long term and what you can make money off of. My gosh, you could sell 100 t-shirts or 20 t-shirts and that'll be more money than what you're getting streaming on Spotify or streaming on, other platforms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's not to say that, streaming isn't a way of income or live performance isn't either, but there's different streams of revenue and, and places for you to make a profit in this industry. So, okay, I digress. Um, but I do want to ask you a question, Maggie. So when it comes to marketing and with musicians and stuff, what I know you said an important thing is to have, an artist page and
Mm.
one topic that we just talked about was consistency.
Yeah.
What is, if you were to, send a musician on their way and they didn't learn anything else more about marketing, what is your advice that you would tell them that would help them just kind of get started or, even what resources that you found helpful or just anything that would be good advice for an artist that is trying to get their marketing feet wet.
Mm. There's a lot of different things to use. Um, I think probably my biggest thing would is to have an open mind, I believe. I think that in marketing or like especially I've done this sometimes. Like I have such a closed-minded aspect sometimes on things. Like I have a certain way that I want to do some things. And I think that whenever you're able to get ideas from somebody, like I said earlier, you know, or even just like ask somebody random, you know, it kind of helps like broaden that just a little bit. Um, but also just some like resources that I found useful. The scheduled post on Instagram. If your Instagram is hooked to your Facebook, you can post both on both at the same time and use both of those things to just send it, you know, and also just something that's also very easy that somebody can just use right now, Canva. Um, I'm not the biggest fan of AI, so I tried not to use it, but it does have like AI features and it can help you like if you have creative block and you don't have a marketing team at the moment, you definitely can just ask like, hey, what can I do with this? And so that's also something that somebody can resource if they like AI. If you don't, ask your mom, ask your dad, somebody in your family. The thing is, like I said with the open-minded thing, I think that people sometimes forget that people are creative in their own ways. Like you as an artist are creative. You as the owner and creator of Nana Music, you are creative in your own way. I mean, you were able to create this and market this by yourself at one point in time. And I'm sure at the beginning it was scary and it was a lot for you. Um, but I think now that you have a whole team, I think that you also, kind of say having somebody to help you, to lead you in the right spot and be like, hey, this may not work for this, but let's try doing this instead. I think that'll really help. But just as a, person doing it by themselves for the first time, be open-minded, take the first step. Like we've had so many people on our podcast say, just post it. And I'm also going to say for the probably the third time, I believe, just post it. If you are, even if you're having second thoughts, if you, if this is what you're wanting to look like and this is what you're wanting to be, just post it. Because the worst thing that can happen is you get no likes. I
And
mean, you tried.
and with that, if you get no likes, guess what you can do? You can take it down, you can revise
Hmm.
it, and you can post it again. I mean,
Hmm.
um, you were talking about, yeah, just posting and I'm gonna shed some vulnerability here for our
Hmm.
listeners and for people,
Yeah.
but I know that public speaking and, talking, like even in this case, I talked about it just before we went online, is like, talking on a camera and talking to people who are listening in and stuff like that. That to me is always something that I have to like kind of get myself psyched up for before I do.
Yeah.
And, this podcast is helping me with my public speaking without being in front of a public audience. Um,
Yeah.
it's helping me show up for myself, but also for the
Hmm.
company. And then on top of that, it's also allowing me to showcase people who are in the industry who, are doing things that are amazing and important to the business of music, but it's kind of giving them that platform to speak to. And I'm not trying to say that I'm the expert in everything because I know I'm not. And that's where, again, having a team and being humble in that regard, I am so thankful for. That's the reason why when you were mentioning like, yeah, trying to do it by yourself, like, yeah, that stuff hurts. Like when
Yeah.
you do it all by yourself and when you know how much you have to do
Hmm.
by yourself, it's overwhelming. You shut down
Hmm.
and then you don't do anything. And so
Yeah.
that when you were saying like it's okay to, reach out for help or to get feedback from people, it's essential. I mean, one thing that my father has he told me, and it was really when I was getting into, kind of like the professional world with careers and stuff. He was like, the phrase was the pride of authorship. Now, not saying anything's wrong with somebody's creativity, not saying anything's wrong with someone's idea. But when you have a team and you're able to peer review against each other and be able to work with each other and refine each other, sharpen each other's iron,
Hmm.
you have to have that humbleness in your spirit enough to be able to be like, you know what? I had a great idea, but their part of their idea makes this idea better. And
Hmm.
now it's that teamwork and that dynamic that makes something great. And that is what you miss when you're the sole author of something. And that could be a song, that could be, again, a marketing strategy, that could be the color of a t-shirt. Like
Yeah.
it could be anything. And that humility in your spirit about whatever the initiative is so essential. And so that's why I'm saying even with the company and with Nana Music Productions, I went from a one woman operation to a two-man operation, including myself. And then now we're at a nine person operation right
Hmm.
now, and we're still hiring if you want to come on to the team. So just let me know and just send me an email. But with that though, I've learned that having a team is great, but then the other part is the trust, and that's a whole other story. also say, um, with marketing and stuff, you have to more so to say the creativity part of it.
Yeah.
If you have a team, it helps immensely and it helps
Yes.
you channel what your vision is quicker than if it's just by yourself. So, but no, I'm very, very happy that you were able to be on the show, Maggie. And I
Yeah.
know that we're going to have you on the show again because, again, this was more of just, again, I think I've mentioned this on some one or two episodes, but
Yeah.
season one, shoot, we're just getting our feet wet, people. We are going to dump
Base level, baby.
into some topics come season two, season three.
Hmm.
You know, we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty there. So, but if someone was to reach out to you and to check in with you or to follow you or whatever, this is where you get to market yourself, lady. Tell me to find you.
It's just Maggie Ham underscore on Instagram, and then it's just Maggie Hammonds on Facebook
Now, is that ham with one M or two M's?
too.
There you go. So you can find her on Instagram and Facebook on that. And then again, if you like what you heard today, you can follow the uh, Instagram page for the podcast at Nana Music underscore off the record. And then you can also follow me at webb, dot Tatiana, Tatyanam, on Instagram. And just remember, this podcast was off the record.